Okay, just when I thought it couldn't get any better, Anti-Mormon Rant. Here we go. We haven't seen this.
Hey guys.
This is going to be good.
I feel like, oh man, I love this. I feel this is like such a nice, it's so nice today. It's like, it is. It feels so great outside. The temperature is very breezy and kind of warm. Lots of global warming people will be like, well, I told you. But it's just a good time. Things feel good. My phone holder is jankety, so hopefully this sucker doesn't fall out of the holder. But it's really cool. I'm pet sitting for 2 different families in my church right now, and which means 2 different houses, 2 sets of pets, and that's not bad. I'm not complaining. I'm just it is what it is, and it is busy. It's a busy life sometimes. So, but anyway, I want to talk about what I really wanted to talk about, and that is, I just wanted to say that it's kind of funny. Sorry it took so long to get to this point, but it's funny. It's funny and it's sad mostly. I posted a video recently of myself sharing testimony about the Book of Mormon and just about some things like that. And it never seems to fail. There's always someone, I mean, of course, who am I to sit here and start complaining about how you can't say something on the internet without somebody, without encountering a hater or a troll, right? Of course, who would have thought you would have encountered a hater or a troll? Well, there's been quite a few people who've taken the time to comment on my video, and I'm just, I'm not that surprised, But I was thinking about this, a little bit before I made this video about how it's like, you guys come in here and you have your opinions and you have your thoughts and your feelings, and that's great. And, I think everybody has a right to their opinions, and I think that we all do all have unique perspectives, but, and some are right and some are wrong. Like, you can see things a certain way, but just because you see things a certain way doesn't mean that it's right. And you can argue and say, well, who am I to say that I'm right and you're wrong, and all this kind of stuff. And I agree to a point, but certain things are true and certain things are not. Certain things are false. So if you are telling me that things that are false are true, and you're telling me that things I know are true are false, it's just kind of funny. It's just kind of funny because it's like, the way that people tell you things, especially like, I mean, I'm not a veteran of the church or anything like that. I mean, I guess to some extent I am. In certain ways I am, but I'm not. I mean, I've only been a member for like 3.5 years, almost 4 years. That's not very long.
Oh, wow.
It's long, but it's not long.
I didn't know that.
It's just kind of funny how people
I don't think I knew that.
Bro, that's actually all wrong. First of all, you believe in a different Jesus, okay?
He's a convert.
This is my
I've been a member for 13 years, and that's not very much.
This is my impression of the Anti-Mormons. They're like, you believe in a different Jesus. It's a different gospel. You believe in Joe Smith's Book of Mormon. He wrote it. He was polygamous, had 45 wives, and, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff, And, and they say, you could just tell him, well, you believe in Solomon, who had 700 wives, 300 concubines, and followed after the gods. And he wrote down a bunch of scripture when he was young, which you could say, okay, that's reliable. But then he wrote stuff later, after he followed off the other gods. The book of Ecclesiastes is literally some guy who had 1,000 wives, ran after the gods, and then wrote some stuff down. And that's your guys' scriptures. So it is kind of like the pot calling the kettle the mark of Cain. It's pretty ridiculous, if you think about it. Solomon's way worse. He wrote the Song of Songs, which is basically like a pornographic book in the Bible. And he was talking about how he likes girls and broads and women and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Joseph Smith said it wasn't even inspired. That's what Joseph Smith said. So, the whole thing's ridiculous. An angel. He was visited by...
Not to mention there's unrighteous polygamy and righteous polygamy.
Named
Solomon was commanded to have one wife. Joseph Smith was commanded to have multiple wives. And I know what you're going to say. Well, he's a false prophet, so something, he had 40, it was unrighteous polygamy if he's a false prophet. And that's true. But you still believe in Solomon, who had unrighteous polygamy, he had 20 wives for every one wife that Joseph Smith had. So
He was visited.
even if it is unrighteous polygamy, Solomon is still worse. So it's just hypocritical. In Jewish culture, you can't throw stones when you're guilty of the same crime.
Even that's what he was visited by. It was a demon. It's so crazy.
Not to mention, a lot of people think Apostle Paul is the Antichrist. And when I say a lot of people, I mean like almost 1% of Christians.
All right.
You should go down that rabbit hole. The Apostle Paul was the one who told us not to do any works and to throw away God's law and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting stuff. I still think the Apostle Paul is true. I just think he's really misunderstood. 2 Peter 3:16 says he's misunderstood. But if you do misunderstand Paul, you would be better off throwing him out.
I love this guy.
After the research I've done, he's done irreparable damage with the free grace theology and stuff like that. Lots of demonic movements stemming from Paul's writings.
Travis Anderson. Anyway,
watch out for Paul unless you're really smart.
He's LDS, but he's got
and
some
righteous.
spunk to him. He's got some. What's he got to him? He's got some salt to him, honestly, and he's not a mean guy, but he just doesn't take a bunch of nonsense. Like, he's not afraid to tell people what it is, and
that's why I like David Bednar. He's the only. David Bednar is the only apostle that we have that doesn't care about your feelings when he speaks.
You have to.
Maybe there's someone else up there like that, but probably not.
The same things again and again. If you're a member of the church, especially if you're, on YouTube or you're in the public square.
His Q&A is amazing.
You hear enough things, right?
If you haven't seen David Bednar Q&A, you got to look at that one.
And he's into theological discussions, and I love discussing theology. I love it. Love listening to his channel. Love it. Anyway, he's got a lot of he does end up with a lot of boneheads on his channel. And no offense to people, but people can be really, unfortunately, just because you have... Okay, I'll quote Qui-Gon from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. The ability to speak does not mean you're intelligent. Okay? Just because you can talk doesn't mean you're smart.
Yeah.
And
it's a different skill set.
People are very passionate about their beliefs.
There was a study on this. It was a college professor, and he was science, and he brought in the world's smartest scientist. And he told the scientist to talk in like monotone, really boring. And then he called in an actor from Hollywood, paid him some money to travel to his college. And then he had them be all hyped up and like, yeah, science, this and this, science. And he taught them basic science, and then he just got them all fired up. And then they asked the students who knows more about science. And all of them picked the Hollywood actor. When the Nobel Prize scientist was there who was boring. So yeah, the way you speak does not necessarily mean... it does not correlate with your intelligence all the time. And you know who it reminds me of? Isaiah Saldivar. Isaiah Saldivar is a Christian. He's been Christian for 10 years, and he's not very smart. He has pretty bad anti-Mormon, and he has really bad anti-Catholicism. And he's just not the smartest guy ever, but he's on fire for Christ. He loves Jesus. He repents. He preaches repentance. Fire and brimstone. I think he's a great guy. He's just not very smart.
Because eventually you will come to realize the truth, and when you do, I think that the passion that you have that's leading...
He's a demon slayer.
It's a positive thing. It's a good thing. It'll lead you to the truth. And
you cast out devils.
Closer to... It will help you. That fire, that passion that you have is what's going to help you reach the truth. And so I love that fact. It's very true. But people are just really funny on YouTube and just in life. They just come on and they're like, oh, did you know this? Did you know that this banned Mormon cartoon from like the 1980s? Did you know that it actually contains all the truth? Did you know that your entire religion is a lie? And it's a total false gospel. It's totally a lie. They say, or they come around.
Yeah, it's called God Makers.
Hey, I know the Book of Mormon is true, and blah blah blah. I shared the Book of Mormon with someone, and I'm thankful to be a member in the church. And they say then they comment, but all they say is a YouTube link, and then I click the link, and it says 5 reasons to doubt the Book of Mormon. It's like, how does this add up? Did you not get the memo about the fact that I love the Book of Mormon and that I believe in the Book of Mormon? So why did you think I want to watch a video about why it's not true, or why you think it's not true, or why I should doubt it? That's like saying, oh man, Michael Jordan's the best basketball player of all time. I love him, man. He's so amazing. He's just the best. I love him. I love basketball. I love the Bulls. And then someone comes up and they're like, yeah, you should watch this baseball video. I mean, that's a little different, but still, you get what I'm saying. It's like, it's not the same.
No, it would be like, here's a video why Michael Jordan's not the best. I'd be very open to it.
No, it's like, oh, you love this? Well, I hate it. So here, have some of what I like. I love to hate this thing. I know you love to love.
I think a good analogy would be my dad. He wants me to try food that I told him I don't like this food, and we tried this last year, and it was disgusting. And also, I could smell it, and if it doesn't smell good, it's not going to taste good. The odds of it tasting good after smelling bad is very, very low. It doesn't even make sense because 20% of my taste buds are in my nose. So when I smell it and it smells gross, and he's like, yeah, but it tastes good to me. And it's like, okay, but it doesn't taste good to me. So please never do that again. And then finally, there was something that I liked that he didn't. And I basically mocked him a little bit by telling him to try it. And he says, no, I don't like it. I said, okay, well, try it because I like it. You know? It's kind of funny.
So here, watch.
But yeah, people gravitate towards different things.
Thing you love. It's like, do you not think that through? I know everybody comes from the same. They come from the same place. It's always like, well, we're just worried for you. We just want the best for you. We're just trying to save you, and we don't want you to go to hell. You know, you're gonna die and go to hell because you believe in a false gospel, in a false Jesus. And and it's crazy. People all have their reasons, and it's like, I'm very thankful for what I know. I'm really thankful for the knowledge of the gospel that I have, the knowledge of the truth that I have, because it's so easy. It makes it so easy to see through so much of the things that people say. And it's like they come to you and they say things, they present this thing, and it's like, I've heard that before. And it's like, or they present this thing, you're like, oh, I know that's not true because, duh, like I know this, and I know that's not true because I know this. And they're like, but for them, it's like, they're like, oh man, this is a horrible thing, horrible thing. Did you know Mormons believe that Jesus is Satan's brother? They're like, this is horrible. That's how I know it's not true. It's like, are you serious? Like, that's why you know it's not true? Really? Well, you haven't really thought much about it, have you? It's like, well, if we're all children of God, which we are, including Satan, and who is Jesus? Oh, right, that's right, the only begotten Son of God. Right, you forgot that part, didn't you? Yeah. Well, if we're all sons and daughters of God, and Jesus is the Son of God, then doesn't that make Jesus our brother? Yes. Does that also make Lucifer or Satan our brother? Yes, it does. So, there's just not a lot of, for the most part, people just don't think about these things. And there's a lot of disbelief that gets in the way of people coming to these realizations. And people who are out there like people who are trying to like expose things, and they're like, oh, you need to watch the banned Mormon cartoon. You know what I mean? Like, you need to watch this. It's like, this is like, let me ask you a question, okay?
So in Christianity, they have a Trinity, and Jesus is basically the Father, if you want to think about it like that. It's one being, 3 co-equal persons, and then, so those are the 3 uncreated persons, and then everything else is created. So Satan would be an angel. Yeah. That's why they don't like that. Because if Jesus is yeah, I guess it's the view of the devil that's too high, maybe. Because the devil is made, basically in the LDS cosmology, you basically have everyone shares the divine nature.
You wake up
And
in the morning.
There's no uniqueness. Well, anyway, the way that Christians interpret LDS theology is that it's basically pantheism, if you want to think about it like that, or even panentheism, if you know what that is, and it's but anyways, my personal LDS theology would be that Jesus and Lucifer are not brothers, regardless of what the Pearl of Great Price says. They're brothers in the sense that what's ironic? The Christians think that they're brothers with Jesus. That's what's really funny. So yeah, in that sense, yeah. But I came up with yellow intelligence or gold intelligence, where Jesus is a different species than us, and he's a different species than Lucifer. So they're not really brothers. And if you ever, so you could just tell them, hey, Eric told me that Jesus and Lucifer are not brothers. In his LDS cosmology, there's a lot more to the text than what it says at face value.
Bathroom, you brush your teeth.
Like if you look at Jesus, and this is Christianity and LDS, baby Jesus, was born in Bethlehem, the land of Jerusalem, Alma 7:10, and basically, he had a brother named James, half brother. Now, were they really brothers? No, because Jesus was sinless and he didn't have a dad. Does that make sense? So obviously, James and Jesus can be brothers without actually being brothers, and it's the same thing. Jesus and Lucifer are different species in Christianity. They're different species in Mormonism as well.
Fix your hair, you put your clothes on, you go,
and then you if Jesus and Lucifer being brothers in like a big way causes you to commit idolatry, then you could throw out the Pearl of Great Price. And there's nothing wrong with that. It'd be like throwing out the Apostle Paul. There's really nothing wrong with that. There's literally Mormon churches that throw out the Pearl of Great Price and the Doctrine and Covenants, and they only have the Book of Mormon. It doesn't do anything, It's like, okay.
I need to send this video.
But yeah, if it causes you to commit idolatry, then yes, you could be a different religion. But if it doesn't cause you to commit idolatry, then it's fine.
Like, come on. You're killing me. You're killing me. Absolutely killing me. Like, that blows my mind. Like, that's what you have to do. Like, come on. Like, oh my gosh.
And I would ask the Christian, like, does God and Jesus being related or being brothers, how is that idolatrous?
I know where you're coming from. I know what you guys are going through.
They might not even know what's wrong with it.
I've experienced this.
It's just different, I guess.
It's called, I don't know, let's call it mania. It's called, I know the truth and I know you're believing a lie. So I'm gonna shoot you down, or I need to tell you the truth so you can believe it. So I need to tell you the truth so that you can wake up from the lies of Satan. I need to unbind you from the lies, and it's just ridiculous.
No, it's not ridiculous. I love that the guy's trying. Justin's friend is probably not as righteous as Justin, which is why it comes off as being ridiculous. But let's just say your friend was closer to God than you. He was smarter than you. And he was more holy than you. More holy, more righteous, and smarter.
The lies are the ones.
Those people exist from other religions. And they have a different view of God. They're very, I guess you could say, sectarian. Unrighteous sectarianism is when you throw the wrong people in hell. So some people have that. Some religions have that flaw. Obviously, the LDS Church does not have that flaw. It's one of the strongest things we have going for us. We do have sectarianism, but it's righteous sectarianism. We don't let the devil and his angels into heaven. Okay, only universalism does that. But everyone else we have the telestial, terrestrial, celestial, so we have righteous sectarianism there. But, and then we have spirit prison and spirit paradise. So there's walls around, the kingdoms. But in Christianity, you basically have one giant heaven, and then you have a bunch of people from other religions going to hell. But I just want to say this, Proverbs 27 verse 5, open rebuke is better than love in secret. And people are just trying to help you. They have a different religion. They want you to go to heaven or whatever.
guys think that you're doing us a favor? You think you're doing me a favor?
Yes, he's doing you a favor in his own mind.
You think commenting on my video and sending me a bunch of banned Mormon cartoon videos, links to that, and links to 5 Reasons to Doubt the Book of Mormon by Trent Horn? Trent Horn? Are you kidding me?
Okay, Trent Horn got absolutely destroyed
Did you not
by
see?
what's his name? I can't even think of his name right now. Thoughtful Faith. I forget the guy's name, but it's Thoughtful Faith. They did a debate, and Trent Horn didn't really prepare. Ironically, I fell in love with Trent Horn because he destroyed James White in a debate on Once Saved, Always Saved. And Trent Horn he was maybe not as good as James is debating, but he had a really good argument, which was 75 Bible verses that say you can lose your salvation. And James only had like 4 or 5 that says you can't. And who do you think's going to win that? So I really like Trent Horn, but yeah, his anti-Mormonism is pretty weak.
Did you not see him get completely decimated by Jacob Hansen?
That's the
Did you
one,
not see that?
Jacob Hansen. And I agree with Justin, and I'm nowhere near as LDS as Justin. Justin he's going to think he destroyed him no matter what. But no, he destroyed him. I'll tell you, and Jacob Hansen destroys everybody.
Boy.
But no one wants to debate him because they're risking too much to win too little. No one even really knows who he is. Like, I even forgot his name.
That's your boy? Oh, yeah, he's your boy? Oh, yeah, right. He's right. The Book of Mormon's wrong. Dude, the guy, if you watch his most recent debate, like, regardless of the truth, just watch his last debate with Jacob Hansen. He got completely obliterated. Okay? It's like you guys believe...
Yeah, I did a nonverbal breakdown. Trent Horn. A lot of Catholics were making fun of him even. That's when you know you got destroyed.
So sorry. Like, I'm not trying to say bad things about you and to you guys, but you guys believe in you guys are believing in the wrong stuff. And I know you're saying the same thing to me, but I mean, look at you guys as leaders. Like, you give me a break. And I know you guys are going to hate on us all day long. You're going to accuse the brethren. You're going to accuse, literally, think about that. You're the accuser of the brethren. Come on, what does that say? You're going to accuse the president, you're going to accuse Joseph Smith, you're going to accuse all of our apostles of all these things. You're going to come up with 17 reasons why each one of them is such a horrible person. You're going to say the church is deceitful. You're going to say that it steals money and it's dishonest about its accounting practices. You're going to say that, oh my gosh, there's so many Mormon victims. There's so many victims of the Mormon church, people who have been, like, oh my gosh, give me a break. Like, seriously, you guys are going to go on and say that stuff? Like, you guys are ridiculous. Like, what's the phrase, axe to grind? Like, you find another axe to grind. Like, come on. Like, you're going to come over here, like, do you guys have the ability to look at the church in an objective, non-biased way? Because it doesn't seem like you do. And if you do, you'll see that the church does so much good in this world. And if you look at the president of the church, and you look at the apostles, and you listen to the things that they say, you can't, I mean, I don't understand how anybody in their right mind with a clear conscience, and that's part of the problem. A lot of you aren't in your right mind. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, but it's true. A lot of you guys aren't in your right mind because you watch the president or President Nelson, or you watch the apostles and have something horrible to say. It's like, do you not know?
Yeah,
like,
it's more...
no, it's good.
It's more understandable to talk trash about, like, Brigham Young and Joseph Smith, because you can only really see them on the internet through people reconstructing who they were and, like, taking not even sound bites, but, like, the worst of what they said. But the prophets today, you can literally see them, and not even through the video, you can actually go up to them and shake their hand.
You can't tell a good...
And you could, like, all of our leaders today, it's the best of the 21 million, pretty much.
Staring in the face.
And you could take someone like Thomas S. Monson, you can go back, and you could find out his biggest sin, which was, saying trash talking in the middle of a basketball game in 7th grade. That's his biggest sin. And then he felt bad about it for like 3 weeks, and he'll never forgive himself, and then that's the guy who was drafted through callings to be the president. And that's basically what all those guys are.
You don't...
There's not a lot of skeletons in those closets, but if you go back to like Joseph Smith and Brigham Young, it's like,
Your sons are
you know, it's not like,
free, and your sons.
you know, back in the day, it was more like Noah, you know, and today it's more like John the Baptist.
Moral
John the Baptist everywhere.
is so broke.
When I first joined the LDS Church 2011, I actually thought everyone in the church was equivalent to the General Conference people. And I just felt wicked and gross and disgusting. And then in 2014, I found out the divorce rate was 30%. So I immediately recognized I was in the top 10% and that all our members were wicked. But the quorum of the 70 and the quorum of the 15 are definitely good.
Can't.
David Bednar, I was reading in a book. He read a book. He wrote a book called Act in Doctrine, and I read the book. And there was a story in the book. There was a very speculative party, and the guy wanted to. I'm sorry. There was this family, 5 families, and the first family says, "I'm not letting my son go to that party. You know, there's girls, alcohol, and you know, who knows what could happen there." And then the second family is like, "Yeah, I'm not letting him go either." And the third family is like, "I'm not letting him go either." And the fourth family, "I'm not letting him go." And then David Bednar was like, "Okay, well, my son's going." And they're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, my son's gonna go." And then one by one, they said, "Okay, well, if David Bednar's son's gonna be there, then you know, I'll let my son go as well." And all the families agreed, and then they let him go. Now that David Bednar's son is there, because he will personally, his righteousness was so high that he will cleanse the entire party, and there will be no mischief there. Proverbs 13, verse 20, he who walks with the wise will become wise, companion of fools will be destroyed. Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron, shows one man sharpen another. Proverbs 17, verse 17, 1 Corinthians 10, verse 20, do not have fellowship with the darkness. Ephesians 5:11, do not have fellowship with the darkness, rather expose it. 1 Corinthians 15:33, bad company corrupts good morals. Proverbs 18:24, unreliable friends soon come to ruin. Proverbs 22:6, train up a child the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Something good. You can't tell
David A.
when
Bednar.
you're looking at something good. You think it's something bad.
Looks like a
It's because
prophet,
you
sounds
believe
like a prophet. Also, he quoted Doctrine and Covenants 82, verse 3 in his book. And guess what that one says? He who sins against the greater light shall receive the greater condemnation. I don't think a false prophet will quote that verse. That's crazy.
You tell me I'm in a cult.
Yeah. We are in a cult. There's nothing wrong with that.
Ridiculous.
There's like 12 different definitions. To say that we don't fit any one of the 12 is pretty crazy to think about. But we are, you know, you could be in a cult simply for having like 1 or 2 million members or below. But we have 21 million members, which is a little bit more than 3 million. Once you break like the 0.1% mark, that's a really big cult. I would argue we're a minor religion because, yeah, we're like 8 times bigger than the Jehovah's Witnesses, 8 times bigger than or 7 times bigger than the World Mission Church Society. There are certain just this, like, obviously when the church started it was a cult because it was Joseph Smith and his little friends, you know, but then it grew, he died, and then if anything the real cults would be Community Church of Christ, the polygamy ones, branches. The branches of Mormonism I think are more of a cult than the main branch. But
serious? Like, give me a break. Oh yeah, I'm in a cult, all right. Oh yeah, because I believe in Jesus Christ and I believe in continuing revelation, and I believe
no, it's because we have very speculative beliefs and we're relatively small.
Everybody having. Oh yeah, I'm in a cult.
We have an open canon. We have speculative beliefs.
Has the right to make up their own mind. Wow, that sounds really cool.
You want to look that one up right now? I wonder what AI says. So first of all, what is a cult? AI is probably going to a group or movement that has extreme devotion to a leader, ideology, or set of beliefs. Yes, we definitely have that. We have Jesus. We have Joseph Smith. We have Russell M. Nelson. Ideology, set of beliefs. Absolutely. Most of a lot of our members would die for some of this stuff. Okay. Here we go. Or set of beliefs often marked by practices or teaching that deviate significantly from mainstream religious, social, or cultural norms. That's definitely. We have baptisms for the dead, right? Temples. Okay. Charismatic leaders, exclusive beliefs, isolation. Okay, maybe not that one. Control. Thoughts, behaviors, finance, relationship. Yes, we have righteous brain control, righteous mind control. And if anything, that's kind of a dig at the other religions. The fact that Christianity doesn't encourage you to change your mind or change your thought life is pretty sad. Because 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, hold every thought captive to obedience to Christ. Alma 37:36, hold every thought captive to obedience to Christ. That's a verse I don't even have memorized. It's on my wall though. I do have photographic memory. Manipulative practices. Okay. Maybe not so much there. Okay. You could look at all this. Oops. How about this on is the LDS Church a cult? And just because we're in a cult does not mean that's a bad thing. Ever since I was 10 years old, I wanted to be in a cult. It depends on the perspective of the individual you're asking. Well, come on. Obviously. The term cult can be subjective. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, you guys can read all this if you want. Let's go back to the video. I want to do the whole video in one take here.
Like, doesn't it?
I guess I could do two parts, but
like, well, if you think everybody's entitled to their own opinion and their own choices, and if you think everybody has a right to make up their mind, that must mean you're in a cult, right? Like, give me a break. That's ridiculous. Like, okay, if I'm in a cult and you're not in a cult, your non-cult life is less free than mine is. Okay? And you guys want to talk about how,
that could be true. I mean, the LDS Church tells us to run away from sin and to repent, and sin is bondage. And the fact that there are one-point gospels out there that not only do they not believe in enduring to the end, which we lost a long time ago, not only do we not believe in baptism, which we lost a long time ago, we don't even believe in repentance, which means we have faith alone, and it is alone. Yes, that can lead to bondage because there's no repentance. So I guess I'm with you a little bit there.
Give me a break. You mean to tell me that that just because you can't sit around and sloth and lay on your couch and get fat eating Doritos and you can't get drunk and then go out and have sex with anyone you want? Oh, you think that because you're not supposed to do that, that means that we're high demand? Like, if you think that it's so bad...
The irony is we are kind of allowed to do that, but you will find yourself in the terrestrial kingdom if you have a host of, like, I guess you could say unrepentant sins.
Like how bad... Look, I'm not trying to pick on you guys, but I'm serious.
You could lose a lot of eternal rewards. You could have a small mansion.
Bad.
I feel like that's true in Christianity as well. But watch out for the fornication because the Catholics will throw you to hell for that one.
How bad do you need that coffee? Literally. That's a real question. And I know that, like, you guys are like, oh, everyone, I mean, myself included, I was the same way. You know, oh, I can't do it. I am not me. It's like the Snickers commercial. You're not you when you're hungry. It's like, I'm not me when I haven't had my coffee. Oh, wait, you mean to tell me that your coffee gives you your identity? You mean to tell me that you, the actual you, is the version that's manipulated by caffeine and controlled by a ritual that you have to have every morning that's not good for you? It's not good for you.
I'm not a big word of wisdom guy.
Good for your
Mark 7:15. Nothing from without a man entering into man can defile the man.
It's not good for the
But I've never had coffee. I think it smells gross. I think it tastes gross. But I do like soda.
Bodily.
Energy drinks, they're overpriced.
Okay.
It's basically a high caffeine, expensive version of soda that doesn't taste as good.
Okay, it makes you poop.
And alcohol is even worse.
That's great.
I've never had a glass of alcohol in my life.
But you give me a break, like, you know, and there might
Alcohol is overpriced. It doesn't taste good. Makes you lose coordination. Makes you addicted. Makes you wake up with a hangover, and you lose your morals. And the whole point is to lose coordination. It's just stupid.
be coffee
It's
is
just
actually
dumb.
good for you.
It's just dumb.
It's super healthy for you. All this stuff, blah blah.
If you
blah.
want me to drink alcohol, make it taste good.
But you in your, I mean, come on. And most of you guys,
just
who
gross.
have drank coffee for a long time.
I would rather drink water.
You guys
honestly.
you're just on one side. You're basically on one side of this fence, and I was too. But and so in other words, like you think that we're the crazy ones. You think we're the weird ones. You think we're the crazy ones. And it's like you're the ones that run.
We're definitely the weird ones.
Around like. If you
That's hilarious.
ever like observed yourself, which you can't because you're too busy being. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm not trying to say like you're an idiot or anything like that. I'm just trying to make a point here. And the point is like,
yeah,
dude,
Mormons are really bad at calling people stupid. They're really bad at hating in general.
when you're
I almost want to go behind the podium and tell people it's okay to hate. Proverbs 8:13, to fear the Lord is to hate evil. Ecclesiastes 3:8, time for love, and there's a time for hate. Psalm 5:5, the foolish will not stand, the foolish and the arrogant will not stand before me. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I hate evildoers. Psalm 97 verse 10. Okay. Proverbs 6:16, 6 things the Lord hates, 7 are an abomination to him. Proud look, lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood.
hated,
Jacob I loved, Esau I hated.
you have no ability.
You know, there was a study recently. 900 religious people, 9 different religions, 100 people from each religion, and they said rank the other 8 religions, good or bad, up or down, love or hate, like or dislike, binary, up or down. Okay. The Catholics loved us. The Catholics barely liked us. They were +2. Everyone else hated us to death. Evangelicals, Jews, didn't matter. Everyone hates us. The Jews didn't really hate us that much, but it was like everyone hates us. Protestant, atheist, agnostic, doesn't matter. Everyone hates us. And then it goes to Latter-day Saints, and we go, you're a Protestant? Nice. You're an evangelical? Nice. You're a Jew? Nice. You know, you're a Jehovah's Witness? Nice. You're an agnostic? Nice. You're an atheist? Nice.
That's
ridiculous, you guys. It's okay to hate. And Dieter F. Uchtdorf gave a talk. I call him Goofdork because he has so many jokes. But him and Jeffrey R. Holland have been pushing the whole judge not thing. And I hate it so much. Joseph Smith translation, Matthew 7:1 says judge righteously.
coffee.
Respect is earned. If you want us to respect your religion, you have to earn that. You know, the Catholics like us because we have baptisms for the dead. That makes sense to me. But why do we respect atheists? It doesn't make any sense. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There's no God.
The same way
That's what they say.
with-
There's no God. Goes against Romans 1:20. Psalm 14 verse 1. The fool says in his heart there is no God. I call him how I see him. Foolish. Stupid. Dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
We weren't born with these things. We're not meant for these things. These things are not meant for us, okay? Your normal state, I'm just trying to, like, your normal resting state does not include being completely, like, caffeinated and stimulated all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that's not normal, okay? That's not normal. And it takes not doing that to realize that. Because while you're in it, how can you see it when you're in it? You can't recognize it because it's like, that's your life. And all you know is you just need this coffee. You just have to have it, you know? No, you don't have to have it.
Yeah, a lot of coffee drinkers, they do idolize it.
You don't have to have it.
And
You think you need to have it. You're chemically dependent on it. But no,
Jesus
you
can
don't
get jealous
have
of
to
that.
have it, okay? And when you don't have it, you are more...
God says, you know, you love coffee more than me.
No.
You think about coffee more than you think about me.
You're more... You're
If you are going to drink coffee, make sure to drink it with the Lord, you know?
state. People say, oh, gotta have my coffee so I can get going. It's like, no, just get going. Like, don't you get it? Like, just get going. Like, what? Coffee doesn't give you the ability to go. It makes your mind race. It makes your head, it makes your brain process faster, or makes your brain go faster. It's like, okay, so Do you think that you're just broken? Do you think you were created? Do you think you were created flawed? No, you weren't created flawed. Give me a break. You're created normal. You're created just the way you are. You're just the way you're supposed to be. So, anyway, there's just a lot of nonsense out there, and it's kind of funny ultimately. I mean, it doesn't bother me that much. It's just like I just have a hard time believing it sometimes, because people, obviously, as you know, people be crazy. They're just crazy sometimes. But yeah, I just want to touch on this last thing real quick before I finish this rant. But so, and this is the thing I want you guys to.
It's going to be a 13-minute rant.
I've seen this. I've seen it plenty. I've seen it on Instagram Reels. I've seen it on Facebook.
That's my
Reels,
prediction.
You know, blah blah blah. And this is the thing. And I'm gonna speak to this right now, and I'm gonna tell you guys that you're absolutely wrong. You're actually absolutely flat out wrong.
There we go.
And I don't care how. And this is the problem. Okay, this is one of the problems. You guys follow.
This is what we need more of, Justin.
You get that? Like, do you ever realize that you shouldn't follow trends? Do you ever realize that trends aren't what you should follow? Do you ever realize that you should try to buck the tide? Do you ever think that you should just like live your life and let everything else fall? Like let everything, like, come on, like, why do you have to follow trends so much? And why do you have to jump on every bandwagon? Like, give me a break. Like, it's trendy nowadays to talk about how I was a victim of the Mormon church. I was a victim. Do you know? I read this on somebody's post. It says, I showed up in my motorcycle chaps, all my leather and everything, and came up to the church, and I needed to talk to my bishop, and I came in because I had an appointment to talk to my bishop, and a lady at the church wouldn't let me come inside because she thought you were crazy. That's why she thought you were crazy. She didn't know who you were. You showed up in a bunch of motorcycle gear trying to walk into the church. I was like, we don't know what's going on here. Like, what do you expect, you know? But people are they take the littlest things, and they try to make. You guys are the ultimate mountain out of a molehill makers. Like, you guys just sit here and say, oh, this little thing. Do you know one time I went to church and I stubbed my toe on a parking lot pylon? Did you know I stubbed my toe at church? Actually, I actually did. I actually stubbed my toe. Can you believe that? I'm never going back. You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that's the kind of stuff that people talk about.
Probably the funniest so he's talking about ex-Mormonism, which is much different than anti-Mormonism. Ex-Mormonism is like, you know, I used to be Mormon. It's my identity. It's pretty funny. Exmo Lex would be the goddess of ex-Mormonism. Although she is kind of a hybrid anti, but no, she's an atheist. A real anti-Mormon is you know, Jesus and Liz Front brothers. You know, Mormons more like morons. Those people are all over the place too, and you don't have to be an ex-Mormon to be anti. But I think the funniest ex-Mormon one I've ever heard was this girl. She researched church history, and she saw how evil it was and wicked, and she left because she's just so righteous. She couldn't handle it. They are not righteous enough for me, you know. And I was like, oh my goodness.
They're like, because you want to sit here and try to
wait till you do some research on the Catholic Church.
You want to
Catholic Church history.
You want to act for a minute that the LDS
it was hilarious. I don't know where it is
anywhere, comparatively speaking, to anywhere compared or related.
That's the
to,
funniest
like,
one.
Let's just take the Catholic Church.
But yeah, I agree with this.
I have nothing against you if you're a Catholic, and I'm not trying to say your church is evil at all. I'm not even going to say that at all. I'm not saying your church is evil.
I do have some stuff against the Catholics.
Really hard.
Doctrine of Original Sin. There's some other stuff, but
that you can't deny. And no, I'm sure it doesn't speak of the whole church. No, however, I know there's definitely been some cover-ups about it. But you know, pedophilia from priests. Okay, and obviously not every priest is a pedophile. Of course, why would they be? It's freaking evil. But you want to sit here and act like there's sexual abuse. It's like, okay, so you want to act like the LDS church is like that. People are acting like, I am just, oh my gosh, I just left the church and I've never been happier. I can finally do me. I can finally live my life. It's like, oh yeah, congratulations, you left the church, huh? Like, oh, you think you're just gonna go live your life and be happy now? Go ahead. So go ahead. What does living your life look like? What does being happy look like to you? Oh, I'm gonna go get some piercings. Let me get some tattoos. I'm gonna drink some alcohol. I'm gonna drink some coffee or something. It's like, let me ask you something. If you want to be happy, is that what you need to do to be happy? And I mean, that's just normal in life. I mean, that's just how this is part of our culture. This is part of the world. We live in the world, okay? The world is not a perfect place, obviously. People are not perfect. And the world is full of everything. That's what the world's full of. It's full of everything. You get a little bit of this, you get a little bit of that. You get a little bit of, oh, I need to buy alcohol in order to be happy. It's like, don't you realize, can't you see, don't you know deep down, the stuff you knew when you first realized it, when you first had that feeling that said, I don't need to do this to be happy. Why would I even want to drink coffee? Why would I even want
Yeah, but to be fair to her, like sometimes there are people
alcohol?
in life,
Why would
they're just, it is what it is. They're terrestrial beings or they're celestial beings. And if you try to shove them into the celestial, which we should do, they're just going to burn up in the righteous. It's kind of like if Kobe Bryant, just pick him up right now in a helicopter, one that works, and fly him into the celestial kingdom within a week, or no, within a day, within an hour. He's like, get me out of here. I want to go play basketball in the celestial kingdom. You know, the celestial kingdom, it's just hundreds of children singing I'm a child of God over and over again. Why would Kobe Bryant want to be there? Does that make sense? So when people leave the church and then they embrace their sin, I don't know if you know anything about Emanuel Swedenborg. He believed in 3 heavens and 10,000 hells. And the hells were all good and they're filled with mercy. But everyone in heaven knows that it's bad, you know. And it was selfless versus selfish. And the hell is selfishness and heaven is selflessness. But yeah, some people are just selfish. I think it's first or 2 Timothy 3:1. Children in the last days will be lovers of themselves, proud, boastful, disobedient to parents, stuff like that. When the devil and his angels leave heaven, you just gotta let them go. You know,
smoke a cigarette? Why would
not everyone loves God.
I want to?
It's sad, but it is what it is.
You're right.
Everyone wants to go to heaven. They just don't want God to be there.
Why do you even want to? Because you're curious? Because you want to know what it's like? Because you think you need it? Because you don't like your life and you can't stand it? Because you're in pain? Because you're suffering? Because you're trying
I love the flesh more than the spirit.
You're trying to avoid your problems? Because you're trying to alleviate your suffering? Tell me about how
better to rule in the terrestrial kingdom than to serve in the celestial. That's what they'll say.
And drugs and coffee even. Tell me about how all those things solve your problems. Tell me. They solve your problems, right? They fix everything for you. Like life's so much better now because you do that, right? Like tell me about how much better you feel because you got drunk. Tell me about it. I'd like to know.
Yeah, it's better to be a genuine sinner than a fake religious person.
You can't.
Fake religious person, that's true hell right there.
You can't find happiness in those things. So if you think that you're going to leave the church,
you can find happiness, but you can't find righteousness and holiness, which is what the God hole craves, is godliness.
Happy.
That's what we need. That's what the commandments help us get.
Be happy now. You know what? You're just mistaken. And this is a typical case. It's a typical case of like I think we all know what this is like to a certain extent. Like I knew this growing up. I knew it was wrong. I knew the kids swearing in school was wrong. I knew it was wrong. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Even the little kids are swearing? What? What the heck is this? You know, like give me a break. You guys are all swearing. Like this is wrong. You're supposed to say that. You shouldn't say that. It's not good to say it. It's not good to swear. It's not good to talk like that. And that goes for anything that's bad for you. And instead, people have to act like the church is the problem. They say, well, if it wasn't for such a high demand religion, I wouldn't have had to do drugs. It's like, what? Are you crazy? Like, no, you have problems. Don't you get it? You have problems.
Yeah, I've said this before, but the LDS church is for people who already know God. If you don't know God, you'd be better off at a Christian church because they encourage you to start your relationship with God.
Okay.
In the LDS, everyone's pretty much baptized, so we assume that everyone knows God, and it's a bad assumption. And sometimes I hear General Conference, and these guys are these guys are like preaching to the choir and to the angels, and not all of our members are angels. Dieter F. Uchtdorf, he gave a 26-minute talk on the mechanics of the fourth fruit of the Spirit, patience. And I said, wow, this is a great talk for me and probably 10,000 other people, but not for our 21 million members. My goodness.
And follow God, and so we can have some relief.
How is that going to help anyone?
Because that's what
they're probably sitting in church burning in hell.
What happens when you go to church? That's what happens.
But yeah, I would say if you're already hyper righteous, your pretty much only choices are going to be LDS, Catholic, or maybe some other super cult. I can't even think of another one that can even compete with us.
You get
But yeah,
relief
if you don't know God, then
from the
LDS Church might not be
world.
for you.
You get relief from the suffering in this world. And it's not easy. It's not an easy road. It's not easy doing the right thing. Why do you think it's so hard to do the right thing? It's because it's good for you, because it actually changes. It changes your life. It's like, okay, you have a splinter. Why do you think it hurts to pull that splinter out? It hurts.
It's not hard for me to do the right thing.
Splinter's not supposed to be there.
But I love God.
And when you make it, it's like when you're lifting weights, okay? My arm hurts because I was lifting weights. Yeah, you know why your arm hurts? It's because you were tearing muscle. And that's how you make it stronger. It's like, my legs hurt from jogging. Good. You went jogging. You know, now when you go jogging, you'll be able to jog and they won't hurt. You know, it's like, this is the process. Don't you guys see this? Like, so stop believing these things that are lies. Stop following these lying campaigns, basically, that are saying, you know, you need to tell people the truth about Mormonism. The truth about Mormonism. Ooh, so spooky. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Wow, give me a break. Like, come on. You mean to tell me that you've read the Book of Mormon? Oh wait, no, you haven't. Oh, that's what I thought. That's right, you haven't read it. Right, you haven't. Duh. That's 95% of all the haters of the church never read the Book of Mormon at all. And you know, everything they say, so many of the things they say are so easily debunkable, are so easily misrepresentation.
Well, it depends why they hate it. Like, I haven't read the Quran.
What is it?
And I do hate on Islam simply because they have a very low view of Jesus. They think he was a prophet. The only verse I know in the Quran is Quran 3, chapter 3, verse 54. And I'm not even going to quote it because it's out of context, and the Protestants twist the verse, and I already did a bunch of research on it, and I had to apologize because I was taking it out of context. But
do you see us going out and doing that? Do you see us going to people and saying, hey, you're deceived? No, we don't do that. Because why? Because you shouldn't do that. It's rude. You shouldn't do that. You should let people believe what they believe. Don't you get that? Don't you? That's my question for you, anti-Mormons. Don't you appreciate being able to believe what you believe? Don't you appreciate that? Don't you appreciate the freedom of religion? I do. I love the freedom of religion. I love it. So when people are
so he's talking about the 11th Articles of Faith here. I'm not a huge fan of the 11th Articles of Faith.
I love it.
I kind of am, but
you know. And
no, so I think you should try to change other people's minds. Obviously, there's a lot going on there.
Like,
if the person's not receptive, but the 11th Articles of Faith is more about their freedom to worship as they may.
God, that's of us. Like, that's what we believe. So why would you,
according to the dictates of their own conscience, is what it says.
On the other side, it says you shouldn't do that. That's bad. That's evil. You know, and it's one thing. It's one thing to tell somebody they should, like. We were talking today in church about the difference between knowledge and wisdom, and it's like there's knowledge is knowing something. Wisdom is knowing whether or not to say it, right? When to say it, how to say it, why to say it, right? That's wisdom. And so sometimes.
And I just want to say this, Justin. I'm assuming you've never prayed for wisdom before. I could be wrong about that, but most of our members have never prayed for wisdom in their life. But they do have James 1:5 memorized. James 1:5. The church was founded on James 1:5, and you've probably prayed for wisdom. Like, help me know this or know how to do this. That's not what I mean. I mean the actual word, wisdom. Like, Lord, I pray for wisdom. Help me. I don't know. Maybe Justin has.
Shouldn't do that.
But most of our members haven't. Because it says if you lack wisdom. And most of our members don't lack wisdom.
Sometimes it's not.
But yeah, just a reminder. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Lord God, I pray. I thank you. I love you so much. Lord, I pray for wisdom for Justin, Hubbard, and for myself. I say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
But I just think it's funny that people think that they're going to come on the channel and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to tell you the truth, brother.
Wisdom is praying for wisdom.
You know, you believe a box of lies. You're deceived. You're duped by the devil. You're going to hell. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to make fun of Christians or anyone really, because I was the same way, and I know a lot of people who, I know they're truly caring people and they truly have people's best interests at heart. They just literally don't know. They don't know certain things, and so they believe certain things. And that's fine. You can believe them. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're true, but you can believe them. And I'm not going to make fun of you for believing it. I'm not going to, I'm not going to try to like rub your nose in it and try to say like you're a horrible person because you believe in this thing. Like, no. But, I think that you should practice letting people believe what they believe. And like, I let everyone believe what they believe. I don't have a problem with people believing what they believe. I might say something about it, like when it comes to the haters, like the anti-Mormons and all. It's ridiculous. Like, you want to come out here and tell me like why I'm wrong? Like, give me a break. Tell me why I'm wrong. Let's have a talk. Okay? Let's discuss that. Let's figure that out. Because anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope I wasn't too painful of a rant, but you know, hopefully it also helps to, I don't know, maybe I can help you express your feelings vicariously. But yeah, it helps me, I know. But anyway, we should be nice to people, and there's a lot of disinformation out there. There's a lot of things that are just not true about people, especially us, especially Latter-day Saints. There's a lot of hate about Latter-day Saints. People don't know how to leave well enough alone. It's like, if you didn't like the church and you needed to leave, then you left, okay? Great, you left. That's what you needed to do, right? I actually have seen anti-Mormons get angry because people in the church don't reach out to them anymore. They're like, I left the church, and they stopped writing me. They stopped messaging me. It's like, what did you expect? You left. And it's not that we're holding that against you. It's that you made your choice, and you said, I don't want to come here anymore. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And so what are we supposed to say? We're supposed to say, okay. You know, I mean, what can we say? We can't say, no, you have to stay. We have to say, okay. It's your decision. So it's like, well, if you left, then why are you still going, why don't you guys talk to me anymore? It's like, if you wanted to talk, you should have stayed. Duh. It's like, you left. Like, we were here. We're still here. You left us. Like, you left us. And you're complaining about us not talking to you. You left us, you know? Give me a break. And I'm not saying don't love people who left the church, but I mean, give me a break. I mean, people need to think about these things.
Okay. Hey. Great video, you guys. Great video.